And so it's important that we keep track of what's going on with COVID. And again, Ms. Sylvia Lemus from the County of Sonoma typically comes over and we have a conversation about what's going on with COVID and other items of importance. And so we want to make sure that the community doesn't just assume that everything is fine. We know that the Sonoma County Fair is starting or will soon start. I believe it started today. And therefore, people touching different surfaces, whether it's the restroom, whether it is, again, games, whether it is rides that you're going to be touching. Again, be very careful if you choose to participate. It's the same as going to a restaurant. Every time you open the door of a restaurant, there's a high likelihood that somebody who has or had COVID recently may have been carrying the virus there. And so touching surfaces is really, really important. So again, we need to wash our hands regularly to avoid this issue. Now, a lot of people are acting like this is not an issue anymore, like it's not a big problem. But I want to remind you that a week ago when we were reporting here on KBBF 89.1 FM, we were talking about 134, 135 new cases in the last 24 hours. Well, this week, based on what we're looking at here, and you're welcome to check that same data at socoemergency.org, it clearly tells us that in the last 24 hours, there have been 1,700 tests and 238 positive. And unfortunately, the number of vaccines is very low for one day, 443. And we continue to be at 82.7% of the population vaccinated, which means that close to 100,000 people in Sonoma County are still not vaccinated and putting their lives at risk and the lives of their loved ones and others. And so it is interesting that, again, we are not taking care of ourselves as we should. So regardless of what anybody says, wear your mask. Wear your mask when you go to the restaurant. Remove it when your food is coming in. Eat, and if you're choosing to stay at the restaurant after your meal, please put that mask on and continue there. And then also when you go to the store, when you go to other places, wear your mask. Don't worry about what people may think, may say, may point at you. I know because this has happened to me. I don't worry about that. My health and the health of the people I come in contact with is most important. In order for me to be able to come and do the show here and try to contribute whatever I can to the community this way, I have to be healthy enough to do so. So I have to, for the health of my community, I have to stay healthy. And I invite you to do the same. And I want to make sure that you understand there are people out there that they know they are sick and they're still acting like nothing is wrong. I recently heard of a young individual who knew was sick, invited several people at a restaurant, and it wasn't until a couple of hours after they finished eating at the restaurant that this person messaged individuals and said, yeah, just so you know, I have COVID, just like nothing. And so for several days, these people were worried about their health and their families. And so if this is considered a friend, imagine other people that you may not know. So please don't worry about what people may say. It's best for you to keep track of your health. That is the most important thing here. So the other piece that we want to clearly say here is if you test positive, this is coming from the County of Sonoma, if you test positive and you're vaccinated, it's important that you begin the counting of isolation the day that you take the test, and again, you are testing positive for this. And so if you are vaccinated, you stay in isolation for 5 days, and then you can leave isolation on the 6th day if you test negative with COVID, and also if you haven't had a fever for 24 hours, and if you have no obvious symptoms of COVID. That's for people who have been vaccinated. People who are not vaccinated, you are supposed to stay in isolation for 10 days. And again, this is important because if 100,000 people are not vaccinated, and we're about to get back to schools, and again, people are going to the Sonoma County Fair, and people are going to restaurants, this and that, please take care of your health and that of other individuals that surround you. Briefly, the other item that we want to cover is just to remind you that the vaccine, the monkeypox vaccine, does exist. It has arrived to Sonoma County. And as a result of that, again, you can check with your doctor, with your physician, and ask if the vaccine is something that you should be worried about, that you need to take. Mainly, it's encouraged for people who have been in contact with somebody who had it or has it, or if you're at risk of becoming in contact with somebody who has it or had it. So we want to make sure that you understand this. But reach out to your doctor, reach out to your health clinic, whatever you may have access to, in order to make sure that you're staying healthy. So we just want to put the information out there. And as always, for more information on COVID-19 or even the monkeypox, you can call 707 565 4667, 707 565 4667. And we're going to leave it at that for today in regards to COVID-19 and monkeypox.